You see it everywhere, right? In celebrity headlines, on your own dating apps, there's this one question that just keeps popping up. And it sounds so simple, but believe me, the truth is, well, it's anything but.
Yeah, that old saying, is age really just a number? I mean, we all hear it, we've probably all said it, but what does that actually mean when it comes to attraction, to relationships, and to what we secretly truly want in a partner?
Well, it seems like the world of entertainment is absolutely determined to find out. Seriously, dating shows are putting this exact question to the ultimate test, and in the process, they've created a whole new genre of reality TV.
I'm not kidding. We're seeing an explosion of shows built entirely around this one idea. You've got Netflix dropping series like Love is Ageless and Age of Attraction. Even the US Open, yes, the tennis tournament, is getting in on the action with Game, Set, Matchmaker. So why? It's simple. These platforms are betting big that all this age gap drama is exactly what millennial and Gen Z audiences want to watch.
Okay, so let's dive in. What exactly are we seeing on our screens? Let's take a closer look at reality TV's obsession with the age gap and, the totally wild stereotypes that come along for the ride.
Okay, get this. Remember that viral episode of HGTV's House Hunters? The title was, I kid you not, Cougar Needs a Den for Her Cub. It featured Sarah, who's 52, and Jack, who's 22. And the most shocking part, they moved in together after a single date. One.
And just when you thought it couldn't get any wilder, enter Mary Cosby from The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. She revealed that her marriage was pretty much arranged to her own step-grandfather. Her explanation? It was kind of in my grandma's will for us to marry. Wow.
And look, these aren't just one-off crazy stories. This is a pattern, a recurring trope we see all over TV. From Erika Jayne's marriage that sparked all those gold digger accusations to Kris Jenner, Scott Disick, and of course, Hugh Hefner. The point is, television constantly showcases these relationships, often just feeding into old, tired stereotypes.
All right, so that's the TV drama. But let's get real for a second. What's the actual psychology behind it all? We're going to pivot from the tropes to the theories, and you'll see how old ideas are getting challenged by some seriously surprising new data.
For the longest time, the go-to explanation for all this was something called evolutionary psychology. The core idea is that our attractions are shaped by these ancient, hardwired drives for survival and reproduction. This has kind of been the standard way of explaining why we see certain patterns in dating.
And this is where things get really interesting, this clash between those old ideas and what's happening right now. The traditional model says older men look for younger women for fertility, while younger women look for older men for resources and stability. But according to psychology professor Galena Rhodes, we're in the middle of a major shift. Older women are more openly dating younger men, pop culture is normalizing it, and society is just becoming way more accepting of different kinds of relationships. So we have the media's take and the traditional theories. But what happens when we look at actual data? Well, a groundbreaking real-world study is about to challenge everything we think we know about age and attraction. So here's the big question, right? What happens when you strip away the TV editing, the social pressure, and the curated online profiles? What happens when people just meet?
Well, we actually have an answer. It comes from this absolutely massive study out of UC Davis, where researchers analyzed the results of 4,500 real-life blind dates.
And what they found was this huge disconnect. There's a big difference between the age people say they want in a partner and who they're actually attracted to in person. And here it is, the bombshell finding. The study revealed that both men and women show a slight but consistent attraction to partners who are younger than them. That's right, women too.
All right, let's break down the details from this study, because this is where it gets really interesting. First, that preference for youth was consistent for both men and women, about a 55% chance of preferring a younger partner. Second, and this is a big one, the age preferences people wrote on their profiles meant nothing when it came to real-life attraction. And finally, income had absolutely no effect on this preference.
This data completely changes the conversation. So if our real-life attractions defy stereotypes, what does that mean for the role of age gaps, not just in romance, but in our wider society? But wait, this raises a huge question. If both men and women show a preference for younger partners, why do we still see older man/younger woman couples so much more often? Well, researchers believe it's not about personal preference, but about the dating market itself. Basically, the societal norms that dictate who is considered an acceptable partner at what age.
But maybe, just maybe, all this focus on romantic age gaps is a distraction. Maybe we're so busy analyzing couples that we're missing the bigger picture about the value of age differences in our lives.
You know, when we shift our focus from romance to community, the value of age gaps becomes undeniable. Research on intergenerational connections shows clear benefits. Wisdom and experience get passed down, communities become stronger, and every generation grows by learning from the others.
And this leaves us with a final, challenging question to think about. If we instinctively celebrate the value of age gaps in our communities, in mentorship, and in our families, why do we so often rush to judge them in love? Thanks for joining me for this explainer.